This episode is powered and sponsored by Fort Way Media. Whether it's a special event, your wedding day, or maybe a small business looking to make an advertisement or commercial, Fort Way Media is the obvious choice. They turn everyday life into a cinematic experience. When you want to capture those special moments, look no further. Stop what you're doing. Check out fortwaymedia.com, book an appointment today, and don't miss out on another chance to get what you want in front of the big screen. Whether it is expert videography or photography, Fort Way Media can match exactly what you're looking for. Fort Way Media is known for helping out small businesses and everyone reach their dreams. Sign up today.
Well, today we're talking about Abigail, starring Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durant.
Kevin, you didn't see his name? Kevin Durant's in the movie.
Kevin Durant's in the movie?
Isn't that a basketball player?
That is a basketball player.
I thought it was a singer.
Does everybody not know?
Was he the black guy?
Nicholas.
Down, speeding, camera, rolling. Scene 66, take 303, mark.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by Fort Way Media, the podcast where the guy knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I'm JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television. And today we're talking about Abigail.
But first, we have a very special guest.
With us today is our vampire and werewolf expert and my fiance, Krista McChesney. Krista, great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Do you want to sound like you're not about to be hit with a stick and
No,
beaten as a
because
child?
I'm
There we go. There's the
you're
confidence I
always
need.
doing it.
There's the back talk I'm about to marry. Right there. Ooh, sorry,
Stop,
Nicky Table.
Joe.
Peeking?
Peeking. So growing up, movies at the house. What are we watching? Do you have a family movie night?
No, we had a family movie. It was is it My Neighbor Totoro? Yeah. I almost said My Neighborhood. But
Nick, do you know My Neighbor Totoro?
I do not. It
It's
sounds like an
It's
anime character.
Studio Ghibli.
It's a
film.
Ghibli.
Okay, yeah.
That's like
it sounded Ghibli to me.
The mascot is Totoro.
The big fur ball looking thing?
Okay.
Yeah, that's their first one, basically.
Yeah.
Krista
Aside from-
also has a Totoro suit.
I do. From Joe.
Yeah.
Is it a
He gave
onesie?
me- It's a onesie.
I would actually call you an expert on vampires and werewolves. So give us some insight. Why do you like vampires in television and media so much?
I don't know if I like it so much. It's just very popular.
Were you a
And
Twilight girly?
I watched it
do you-
because, there's Taylor Lautner without a shirt, so...
Taylor Lautner, say his name right. 1, 2. What do you mean you're not a fangirl? We watch it once a year, all 7 freaking Twilights. What are we talking about?
That is not true.
I
I've only rewatched it
You
once.
came at it like, I kind of like Twilight. You watched it.
That is not what I said. I wasn't a Twilight girly. I didn't read the books. I went to one midnight premiere out of the, 5 movies?
I don't know. I've never seen any of these.
The last one is a part
It's-
2, like every other freaking book.
Yeah.
movie. What other vampire stuff have you watched?
Vampire Diaries, True Blood, My Babysitter's a Vampire. I think that's like a Disney one.
And werewolf.
Werewolf, I don't like Taylor Lautner. That's about
What
all I
TV
got.
shows about werewolves?
Oh, yeah.
You're an expert. I'm not a big fan of
Well,
it.
I would say it was. I'm an
what about
expert.
Buffy?
I actually haven't seen Buffy.
Never?
No.
The movie, TV show, none of it? Wow.
Well, she slays vampires.
True.
Is she?
But it's still a vampire.
It's a vampire show, I would
Show.
say. Like,
I thought it was more Monster of the Week kind of show. That's all right. All right, so Teen Wolf.
Teen
yeah,
Wolf, yeah,
you've
that's what I was
watched
gonna
how many
say.
times?
Once. Okay, twice.
Yeah, let's get it.
But I only watched the whole thing once.
And how about Vampire Diaries? How many times have you watched that?
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
It's been like 4 or 5 times.
So she watched a lot of vampire and werewolf stuff. What's the appeal? What do you like about vampires?
I mean, it's fantasy. It's, something that's not real and you can immerse yourself in, but then you're like, maybe it is real. Maybe, like, my neighbor is a vampire, but obviously that's not true.
yeah, I
actually
like
believe
fantasy, but I like, paladins who smite down ghouls. What do you like about vampires?
that. I mean, I think the immortal, nothing can hurt you kind of deal.
I'm sure we'll be coming to you because you probably know all the ways vampires have been killed, weaknesses. I probably don't know them all. D&D gives me... I get to do my own stuff, but for example, the only way to kill a vampire is after you reduce its hit points to 0, it flies back to its coffin. And then if you put a stake while the vampire is resting because it's recharging itself,
then you can kill it. For the fans, are we Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Probably Team Edward.
It's Team Jacob. Not even close.
How is it not close?
It's not even close. Ow! To my boys. All right. Nick, let's get to it.
All right, so let's start off with some cinematic news.
Cinematic news. I'm still under the weather, so the voice is kind of...
Yeah, one of these days we'll get it, like, similar to another episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some disappointing news. There's an Old Boy TV show coming out.
Why?
I don't know. It's like such a simple idea for a movie. I mean, it's a complicated idea for a movie, but like it's done.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to stretch that out anymore. We all know the twist. I mean, most of us.
The only thing I could see them doing is making like hour-long episodes about different people who are put in the same building.
It's just going to get a lot of hate.
Krista, you haven't seen Old Boy, right?
I have not. And I want to say I listened to the podcast about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good time.
It's a rough watch.
It's an amazing movie, but it's a very, like, a lot of tough topics to get through.
Yeah.
So.
The Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover
Oh,
is
yeah.
officially in development.
Let's go. Excited for this.
I'm ready for Transformers to be done.
I was too. And then this new one came
Yeah,
out.
Rise of the Beast really changed things for me.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one where they turn into beasts? Like the
Yeah,
guy?
crazy. I know.
Yeah?
Yeah, based on that. Wow.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so they start like underground.
They
They
rise
come
up,
up.
yeah.
They rise up, and they're like gorillas.
There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming out that's R-rated.
Whoa.
You said it during the summer,
Yeah.
so we can actually pull that clip, and it's like JP called it. Like they need to just chop guys up and stuff like that.
Yeah. They never do.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be. They're the good guys.
It's
for
for
kids.
kids.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
Well, I still want a real one. Slice them up. Because the dude's got two swords. He spins them, throws them up in the air. A bad guy comes, back of this blade.
Leonardo DiCaprio is in Martin Scorsese's next movie.
He's still making movies. Let
movies.
it end, Scorsese. I know you got pissed about Flower Moon, but come
Yeah,
on.
he's doing a biopic on Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that has to win.
But I'm like, Leo is great.
But he's
But
not
he-
Frank.
He's
no,
not Frank.
no, the voice is like way, way different. Like so different.
If you wanted to do it, you should have got De Niro to do it when he was younger.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Too late now. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Don't throw that idea out there because they will de-age him real quick. They'll jack up that budget and do it.
You know who I think it might be? Nah, he's probably not. Because Frank Sinatra is a good-looking guy. Very, very classy, very good-looking.
I would have done a young Bradley Cooper.
You know who might have been good? Who's the guy from The Green Book? That Italian guy.
The Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah.
Mortensen?
Yeah.
He's like, but when he was like playing like Aragon, you're saying?
That's the same guy?
Yeah.
What?
Bro.
That's the same guy? No
He-
shot.
He was Aragon, then he's in History of Violence and Green Book. I mean, he's been in other movies between those, but like those are like the big three.
No way. That's not the same.
Man's gonna go to Wikipedia.
Or is it The Green Mile am I thinking about? No, I'm thinking...
the Green Mile is the prison movie. The
No.
Green Book is the driving movie.
Wait, let me take a... What? Nick, there's no way. That's There's no shot that's Aragon.
Look at the face.
What? That's him. Never mind. He can't be it. He's the one who kneels to the hobbits?
Oh my gosh.
He's eating a sausage and pepper, beating up racist white cops. What are we talking? And he helps Frodo bring the fucking ring?
That range.
What? That's crazy.
Speaking of range, Leonardo DiCaprio was also, for a hot second, about to be Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman.
Please don't. Don't do it.
And one last thing in cinematic news.
Wow.
Rebel Moon is expanding into a 6-feature length series of movies.
Who's watching this? Nobody.
Part 2 just came out this weekend. It is the worst rated film of Zack Snyder's entire career.
All right, I got to talk about the Zack Snyder thing. He made one movie that people can't decide if it's good or bad, and then they don't shut the fuck up about it. And then all of a sudden, he has a resume of movies in his life. Shut the fuck up about the Zack Snyder shit.
I would like to punch in for 1 second here.
Sure, Dick.
What is the one movie you're referring to?
I don't know. I have no clue. They just don't shut the fuck. Is it the Justice League? cut? Is that Zack Snyder?
Yeah, that's the one that they jerk off to. But
Yeah, they don't, but what are they jerking off about? Like, there's the regular one, nobody liked it. Then there's the director, but then there are people fall back.
I did see the director's cut. It is actually better.
I'm tired of hearing this guy like he's good. If he was good, people wouldn't have to talk. They would just say he's good, but it's always a question mark with Zach.
All right, so just to be clear here,
Yeah.
I'm going to read through his filmography, and you tell me good or bad.
All right.
He starts off with the remake of Dawn of the Dead,
Good.
300,
Good.
Watchmen,
Bad.
Sucker Punch,
Bad.
Man of Steel,
Bad.
Batman v Superman,
Bad.
Justice League, the director's cut,
Don't care.
Army of the Dead,
Never seen it. Bad.
Rebel Moon 1 and 2.
Bad. Just be bad or good. Pick.
Why can't he be both?
Because he can't.
But he is.
I want people to shut the fuck up about it. Like, if Nick talks about... I'd rather hear Nick talk about Scorsese being, so fucking good.
Oh my gosh.
I will say Army of the Dead was actually pretty good. A lot of people hated it. I really liked it. I thought it was a good idea.
See? Literally Justice League. I thought most people didn't like it, but I really thought it was good.
What's wrong with people having different opinions about it?
But that's all his movies. That's everyone. Well, personally, I know the audiences loved it, but if you really look at 300, I don't think it's a good movie.
Well, today we're talking about Abigail, starring Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, Will Catlett, Kevin Durand, Angus Cloud, Alicia Weir, and Giancarlo Esposito.
Abigail follows a ragtag group of criminals as they go to abduct a little girl. They take her back to a safe house, and while there, are instructed to wait 24 hours waiting for payment. However, things take a strange turn when creepy things start happening to our criminals. And that's what Abigail's about.
And first initial thoughts.
I enjoyed it.
Kevin Durand, not to be confused with the basketball player, Kevin Durant. Two very different people. He's doing a great job, but I think the middle of this movie is just Home Alone for vampires. And it is hysterical in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what a great movie to go to the theater for.
I did not expect that much comedy. I was a little bit sad that they ruined the twist, basically, in the trailer. I thought it could be a really cool From Dusk Till Dawn moment where they reveal it, mid-movie. But I'm like, we were talking about it when we left the theater, and it's like, that's kind of the way to drag people to the theater.
You either have to have really good mystery element to pull people in, or you have to show something that, and so in the trailer, you see that the little girl's a vampire. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it just looks like every other vampire movie, and I'm not sure if people go see it. But I think, and so I think this is a safer play than relying on word of mouth because people really aren't going to the theaters. So
I was surprised about the amount of people in the theater today, too.
Solid numbers.
For a Sunday matinee, there were so many people laughing. So many people. It's not really like a horror movie, I would say. So it's not about the jump scares necessarily.
It's not about the jump scares, but there are really some creepy and scary moments. Mm-hmm. Were you freaked out by anything, Krista?
I'm trying to remember. There was one scene where I jumped at, and someone popped, I think.
Oh yeah,
when someone exploded.
Yeah. Anytime that happened, and I had to look it up later because I was like, I knew the directors' names. They're the guys that did Ready or Not. Did you see that one?
I think I have seen Ready or Not.
That's the one with the bride. She's running around the big mansion.
Yeah.
And everybody explodes in that one. So I was like, that makes sense. Yeah, the cleanup crew on this. Imagine getting something wrong after that take, and it's like, oh, we got to clean this up.
Yeah, that's brutal. To get out of the January, February, March shit of movies. What a glorious to rise us out of the grave.
As we enter the summer blockbusters.
As we enter the summer blockbusters.
Well, I honestly thought this one was going to be a crapshoot because the trailer, I've seen it at the movies. I'm like, this is going to be a bad movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, because, again, the trailer revealing the twist, but also it felt like it might have been one of those trailers where the entire movie is in the trailer, and it wasn't that case either.
Not at all. They hid so much.
Yeah, the whole there's a whole 40 minutes that you don't see before it gets revealed in the movie. That I was like, this is a really good setup. Yeah,
they really take their time establishing characters, what you need to know anyway, not getting too deep. It's interesting. They did the anime thing, which you've probably experienced that. I showed you. So you probably felt it in anime, but anytime someone does anything, they give you the entire backstory of that character. That's Hine Jukamaku. He's the coolest guy in school, #1 ace volleyball player. Some say he's gonna go first scholarship round 1, and he's got a killer serve. If he does it at a 30-degree, and they just they explain everything. But they disguise it with her playing a game with them, trying to read everybody. And that also and it felt pretty authentic. I know what they're doing, but it felt real in what they're doing.
This is like a particular thing that happens in most of those movies where people are trying to read people, and the way they set it up, it was like a kind of like a 12 Angry Men situation where it's like, a certain amount of people in a house, they don't know who they are, and then the added layer of no names, no backgrounds, who actually is, maybe working with each other and stuff like that. So I didn't pick up on an anime vibe, but it definitely felt like an old school kind of like thriller.
Oh, I just meant it's just the anime and it's like, it's not that's not an anime at all. But yeah, there's like 3 different movies in here. Mm-hmm. Part 1 is, I think, the Agatha Christie murder mystery. Part 2 feels like the camp blood gore horror. It's like Home Alone in the middle, and then at the end, it's every end of horror movie classic. And I think that's where I get a little bit annoyed with this. That's my only problem is I think the end of this movie.
I would agree with that. I was very happy with most of it until the ending. Like basically when there's the one survivor.
Yeah, or in the the 25-minute just fight her, put her down, fight her, put her down, go back, just kill one and move on with your day. Which because they kill people. No, anyway, we're getting into a lot of the weeds, but
yeah. So let's refocus. Who's standing out in this movie? For me, I think Dan Stevens is a big one. That's the guy with the glasses,
Frank. Yeah,
because I saw him in the Guest, and he's actually he's British. I don't know if you've seen him in other things.
No.
I'm trying to remember because he has a very familiar face, and I'm trying to think of what else he's in.
He was in The Apostle. Yeah, so I think he's really interesting. I also, obviously, I think we have to shout out the girl that plays Abigail because I saw an interview with her, and she's Irish. She has the brogue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was my favorite.
All right, here's some things that you might have seen Dan Stevens in. Downtown Abbey.
Yes.
Are you saying Downtown Abbey?
Yeah, it's
Downton Abbey.
No, it's Downtown Abbey.
No, Downton.
Downton
Yeah,
Abbey.
it's downtown.
Oh my god.
He can't play anybody important because my man is not listed anywhere in the first. Oh, he plays Matthew Crowley.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Abigail.
So she's also hiding her accent. I always shout out actors that can do that.
I think one of the things I wanted to say about the entire cast is nobody upset me.
In that scene when they're highlighted, like they're trying to play the game of who actually is who, seeing all of that.
Everybody is playing exactly who they're describing. Like I really thought Dan Stevens was like once you say he's a cop, like he's acting like a cop the entire movie.
I also really liked Sammy. I don't know the actress's name.
Catherine Newton.
Yeah, I really liked her. I like her. She was in the recent one with
Lisa
Cole Sprouse.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Lisa Frankenstein. I really liked her.
I think she's gonna slowly become like the horror icon,
A scream queen.
a scream queen. Yeah,
There was a point in the movie I was like, she kind of reminds me of Miley Cyrus a little bit.
we're talking Hannah Montana way.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. Because I just feel like every Disney star at this point needs to have a Taylor song. Taylor's dead now. The old Taylor's dead. The old Miley's dead now.
How did we feel about the order of deaths? Did you feel like any of this was predictable in the way that they die and stuff like that?
Yeah, just like I was about to say, yeah, I felt kind of unexpected. The only one I would have liked, our first guy who died, I would have liked to see him react as things got a little crazier. Mm-hmm. Would have been funny, but it makes sense that he dies first.
And did you see, or Krista, did you see who was going to be the last person? Or
I think it's kind of easy to predict who the last person is, personally.
I think the last two, it was a pick between the obvious, Joey, our main character, and Frank or Sammy, I thought. Because once they addressed the bite and she's fine, I actually genuinely forgot about it. Up until they're like, yeah.
I actually did believe that like nothing was going to happen to her. And then what does, we're going to keep the spoiler free here.
Yeah.
That actually really surprised me. I don't think I've seen that.
I thought it was really cool.
Now, you are our expert in vampire movies. Has that ever happened in a vampire movie?
No. There is something similar that I've seen before. Special things, special powers, whatnot.
A
I've
Twilight
seen that.
reference, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that in like other things, but did not expect it for this movie.
That's actually a D&D thing. Or like they talk about if the vampire makes you has control over you, spawn over you, so
Highlights of the movie is that it's not predictable. So even getting rid of that twist in the trailer, it still has a lot more.
yeah, even the one character we see with our main girl, Joey, who like you're confident. Like literally they say we're gonna do this together. All right. And then instantly that was a great one.
It was great. I was so sad.
And it happened so fast.
It did.
Yeah. I love the mansion. Always brings me back to Resident Evil, the video game vibes, and I love the setting. I love the house.
I love the setting. I wish I had more of an idea of where things connected. Because that, I feel like, was the only crutch in terms of that. It's like, especially when, like, you know, I always bring it back to The Purge, which I think is the worst offensive one house movie because you've seen The Purge, the original?
Yeah.
All right. Just remember how many times they shot off a gun, which, you know, we play video games a lot. We were kind of desensitized to the idea of a gun, but it is a loud device. And they are in a very tiny house. It is a mansion, but it's
house.
Yeah, it's a house.
You can hear a gun.
If a gun goes off, you're going to hear it and you're going to know exactly where it came from. So, like, you know, in these kinds of movies, when people are yelling and screaming for help and stuff like that, it's nice to know, like, how far are you actually from the help and stuff like that.
Yeah, and even though we don't know it, I do like the fact that when someone does scream, people do hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's deafened, but, like, they do hear things. So it's not like, you know, they get picked off one by one. It's not one of those cliche kind of things.
Did you feel like there were any cliches?
Not really. Not any that like stood out to me at least.
Yeah. And I don't think we can talk about any, like, before we talk about, like, favorite characters or anything else, I think we have to talk about Abigail, the girl, who, just phenomenal villain in the movie.
I'm still not with it with the twist at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up until the end, but before that, one of the best villains.
Yeah, and what a lucky, I don't want to say lucky, I hate that word, but fortunate thing for that actress to get that role because it's such a great role to play.
And she kills it.
And she's actually been in a couple things. I looked it up. She was in the Matilda movie.
Okay. As Matilda or as a sub?
As Matilda, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's on a roll.
There were only a couple of points where I thought hamming it up a little too much. Made like one moment. But for the most part, I think she is like, I believe her.
You know, the idea of a vampire, you know, they're playing someone that's like much older, like centuries old. And it actually really did feel like she had, you know, a control of like all of her emotions where she could play that.
Do you feel like she was in control of the situation the whole time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I same thing for me. I thought the entire time she's like, they're fucked. She's got this.
I think the foreshadowing was a little thick.
Yeah.
Like the statues and like the drawings of everything. I was like, come on.
I thought that was part of the comedy. I thought like they're intentionally like joking.
The garlic was just hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, that whole scene. That's the funniest. Yeah, it's the best scene.
So
in the
let's
movie.
talk about favorite scenes.
Back to me.
I immediately shot the camera to you.
I know.
What without question, it is that scene when they like all are talking about how do you kill a vampire, and they go try to do it, and then
But no, it's the onions.
Yeah, the
onions got me. That was definitely my favorite like line exchange. The guys that directed this also directed the last two Scream movies.
Okay.
And if you're a fan of the Scream franchise, super meta. They always reference horror movies in them. And this one was able to be like meta, where they're talking about all these vampire movies and like how to kill vampires, but it feels real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Like it feels like an actual dialogue that would happen in 2024.
Yeah, everything besides the end feels legit. What the fuck are you doing with onions?
I don't know. I don't cut. I would say my favorite is when they're going to save Sammy or help Sammy when she's in the pool, And then what is his name? Peter screams over the comms. He's like, I got a splinter. That's probably my favorite.
She's playing with her food.
He's playing with her food, and she said a good line, and the guy behind us let us know it was a good line. Just a 1 out of 5. What do you give that? All right, buddy. Peter, who's been pretty much a big idiot carrying the entire comedy of this part. Now everybody else is comedic, and it really adds to it.
Well, also the kid from Euphoria was like the main comedy, and then it switched to Peter.
Yeah.
Then it went on.
You? Any favorite scene?
The onions.
It's just the really. Oh, that's it.
I mean,
Just
that
the
was my
onions.
favorite line exchange, but I think in terms of favorite scenes,
just the talking back and forth about vampires.
yeah,
right?
I think in terms of favorite scenes, it would be, without spoiling it, the power that Abigail has over Catherine Newton's character when that's first revealed.
That's a cool one. Yeah. I'm just glad like something funny came out. Because horror comedy, man, is either super cringe or super good.
We just saw a horror comedy, Lisa Frankenstein. Where does this compare to that?
This is better for sure. Did you like Lisa Frankenstein or this more?
I'm not sure because I really liked Lisa Frankenstein. I
But
liked
it's
how it
two
played
different
out.
styles of comedy.
It
too.
is.
I wouldn't be surprised if you lean towards that one.
But this one is so fresh in my mind. I would probably pick this one over Lisa Frankenstein, but it would be like a hard pick.
Yeah, Lisa Frankenstein is more quirky and more, it's like subdued almost, and very like dry humor. This one is kind of in your face, loud, and yeah.
Were there any downs to this movie? Downton?
In Downton?
Anything downtown for you?
Not that I can really think of, except for like the beginning was, when they first kidnapped the girl and whatnot.
Wait, you didn't like the beginning?
Not really. I guess it was just it wasn't a weird way to segue into like the main part of it. It was just like, okay, what is this that I'm watching right now? There was just no like backstory. It was just like, we're going into Joey and these people in a car and...
Interesting, because I actually liked that they didn't explain anything.
Yeah,
I know you
I think
do.
that was the point.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
we don't know who these people are. We're just as out of the loop as they are.
Yeah. But it's okay if you don't like it, you don't have to.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just, it was like, oh, okay, we're here now. We're in a car.
There's one thing I don't like about the beginning. It's a nitpick. He goes, all right. Like when he gets behind the car, which was kind of like unnecessary to show off his one skill. All right. Like, wow, dude. Whoa, you drove next to a truck. Holy shit. He's the best wheelman in the city. And then he goes, all right, let's do this shit. And then he drives. Everyone's going 30. He's going 40 and just going around them. It's just the smallest cruise around. He's not gunning it. It's like, well, don't you not want to get caught? Like, yeah. So that was the only thing for me. I think that bothered me in the beginning. But Nick, before I get to my big one, what's your big problem?
I think we're both on the same page here. It's the ending, the third act. It is just so messy. It feels like it didn't quite gel together.
Yeah, I think in a movie that is completely unexpected, eventually you're going to get down to one girl or one person, usually the final girl, though. That's why literally it's called The Final Girl.
Yeah, it's very tricky to do a horror movie as from people that have made horror movies. We know, the struggles that are there, and the struggles, especially in the writer's room, to not be cliche. And at a certain point, you do give in and you concede. Like, yeah, they learn that nothing really can kill this girl for a while, right? And then I laughed, and I think you caught me when Melissa Barrera just walks around with a gun going into every room. It's like we learned that doesn't work.
It can like stop her for a second. Like when he initially shot her, she was like...
Only because it went through, though. Yeah, the exploding is amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How do vampires normally die in the other crap you watch?
So I forgot how True Blood was. It's not crap. That's not kind.
Nick started
I
laughing.
caught it.
I know he did. It's not kind.
Because you were going fully into the explanation. I'm like, you just called it a piece of crap.
Yeah.
How do they die in the stuff you watch?
In True Blood, I just looked it up because I couldn't remember. It's just decapitation.
But do they like fade away or they just...
It's mostly, I think, in all of them, they just kind of turn to dust. Like in Twilight, they turn to dust. In Vampire Diaries, they turn to dust after you.
From what I've seen in vampires, they start like sparking up and then they like fade away to like dust. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Burn up by sunlight. Yeah.
I think the only one that they explode that I've seen in is from Dusk Till Dawn. And they do that for comic effect. It's like, oh, I thought these were all going to, burn. And then they just...
Yeah, good reference. Yeah, my big problem with the ending comes down to, like, you're trying in an unexpected movie to still keep it unexpected. So I think they're going for unexpected for the sake of being unexpected.
We are heading into the spoiler part of this
we
episode.
spoil a ton of shit, but yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Frank, who has at this point turned, I mean, he's enjoying the kicks. He wants a little revenge on Joey. Like, it seems like they're going to team up. I do enjoy that he goes back on her at the end. I just don't like his motivation is, I'm going to watch you fuck up your own kid. That seems like a lot of work. It just seems like...
Like, I get that we have until the end of time, but, like, it's a little excessive.
Yeah, like, you want to control her. It's like...
I just don't understand why he just, like, turned on her so fast. Because, like, I understand, like, they're all kind of, like, not great people. Yeah. But I'm going to make you hurt your kid.
Right. For fucking with me. He's like...
But, like, she didn't even fuck with him.
Yeah, like, for the last... Whatever you've been working together, things have been okay, I guess.
Yeah.
For the last 24 hours, yeah.
Like, she made one off comment, like, 2 hours ago. Like, fuck you! Like, get over it.
You're not supposed to know I'm a detective! So upset. So I don't get that. I would have liked if it was just her and Abigail at the end.
Ramps up so fast. Like, you have Giancarlo Esposito's character comes back for a little bit, and then it's like, then he's gone, and then it's like, what's happening right now? Like, it just goes so fast that you don't really get to, for lack of better words, digest what's going down,
True. I almost think we don't need... Well, they need to resolve Lambert's character.
I actually didn't really need that. Every
character you see, besides the driver, needs to die or have some resolution. Because Lambert is the one who sets it all up.
He is, but, she gives a little backstory of saying, like, he works for us, like... That could have been done.
Oh, yeah. I guess it makes sense. He doesn't have to.
It's really just for maybe, like, them to get their comeuppance, but really, like, it was solved who he was.
Yeah, the only reason you have that is because you want Frank to turn, because you want to have that whole scene.
Like, the only reason it makes sense is for Frank to turn. Yeah. Like, otherwise, it's not needed.
Would you have liked it if they took it out? Or do you care, or do you just not care?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, the only thing is that, Frank wouldn't turn, and then what are they going to do kind of thing? Unless, like, I don't know.
The only other way I could see it to be unexpected would be Joey dies, but then that sucks. Or she gets bit.
Pay off all those setups, especially with the pinky promise and everything else. In order to get that to happen, Lambert has to show up. Frank has to turn. You have to have that happen in some way, shape, or form. The entire movie, I thought they were all going to die. That was my prediction,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too. I may have preferred that.
Technically, like, bad guys, they're on our side. We're rooting for them because, it's them against the vampire. But I think if all of their kind of, arcs were closed by the end and they could all die with, without that being a problem, but they were really playing up the son aspect of Joey, so she has to, become that final girl.
I would have liked it if maybe Abigail's going to kill her. Joey gets her phone back somehow, but the only way to get that is because Lambert's got it.
Or they find the room.
Right, but then that means Lambert's still there, because he takes the phones and leaves, but he doesn't. So that's the issue. Abigail spares her as if she sees that she does care for her son. And wants to show up for her son in the way that her father doesn't. It's tough.
I feel weird about the father scene also.
Yeah.
The only thing that saves it is how funny it is. That I agree. It's really awkward.
The last line is hysterical, but I just feel like it's such an unnecessary. I mean, yeah. Again, like, if they did your route and they had Abigail say, like, oh, like, she sees that she's a good mother and that's the parent that she wants. And she could say, like, one offline of, like, I'm going to, want more out of, my relationship with my father or something like that. In a better written way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing I could see it, but...
I just thought it was super cheesy.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like it could have just been wrapped up with Abigail and Joey just leaves.
Or Abigail wins. I think Abigail wins is a great ending.
Yeah, it fits the mood.
If something's really great, people want that cathartic ending. And I think Lord of the Rings, for me, and Rogue One might be the perfect endings to great movies.
Lord of the Rings.
You watch Frodo and Sam, who could have flew, that's fine. You watch Frodo and Sam, who have struggled together to get it and almost ruin it at the end. And all the fighting that's happening, everything they're doing down there really comes down to a friendship between two guys who have been struggling to do this one thing, get this one little object, throw it into some lava. And none of that other stuff matters unless these two guys can figure it out. If you think about that compared to the amount of strength, dexterity, intelligence that you need to fight an entire army, win a battle, move resources, which person of skills would you hire? At the end of the day, you're probably going to choose Aragorn. And that man still kneels down to the hobbits who did the ultimate thing.
Have you ever seen Clerks 2?
I have, yeah.
The reenactment of what Lord of the Rings is.
Yeah, I love that. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's a great... I mean, we're so sidetracked, who cares? But he goes, would you like to see me reenact all 3 movies of Lord of the Ring? The first movie.
The second movie. And the third. And it's so true. So true.
Oh. It really is.
And I just couldn't help but bring it up because you were like, they walked. It's like, yeah, they did. I think this is a good way to segue into final thoughts and ratings.
I think overall it was a good movie. Like I said, the beginning and the end are questionable. I'm leaning towards a 4, but I might give it a 3. Why are you staring at me like
What
that?
would you give Lisa Frankenstein?
A 4.
Okay. Is it better than Lisa Frankenstein?
It's, I would say, about the same.
Okay.
She's cornered.
Didn't we just... I know, I feel very
just asking.
cornered. I regret going first.
Welcome to JP's world.
I'm gonna stick with my initial, which is a 4.
I'll go, then you go.
Sure.
You're welcome. Yeah, Abigail was a fun time at the movies. I honestly didn't expect to like it as much as I did. A rare, perfect balance of comedy and horror. No pun intended. It gets messy at the end. But I think the characters are really good. I think it's super well casted. I think the action is very well paced. I think it looks really good. Genuinely surprised. So I'll give it a genuinely surprised 4 out of 5.
People talk about horror comedies as like this great genre. We're in a monologue here again. Rare do they ever get it right.
That's why I sat back.
Rare do they ever get it right. And I find them to be some of the cringiest and worst in cinema movies. This movie gets it right. The middle is fantastic. I love the beginning too. Love the setup. Love the characters. And the only problem with this movie is you've had such a fantastic... what's a 2-hour runtime?
Just under 2 hours.
Just under 2 hours? You've had a fantastic hour and 35, hour and 40 minutes. How do you end a masterpiece? It's tough to do.
Hour and 50.
Thank you. How do you end this movie? And you know what? We sat here, and we only spent a little time. I couldn't figure it out right off the bat. Clearly, this is a tough movie to end. I am going to forgive the ending, despite it not being that good. It's getting a 5 out of 5. What a fantastic time at the theater. Would do it again in a heartbeat. I'm watching this movie again as soon as I can.
Yeah, I mean, when this comes on to streaming, I'm so sad that I told my dad that it's a vampire movie because I would love to see his expression if he just clicked it and he had no idea.
He's going to piss himself. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's so
not
good.
Not just because of old age. Like, he will piss himself. It's going to be great. This has been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. And, of course, thank you to the wonderful, lovely love of my life, Krista McChesney. In the world of vampire rankings, where does this movie... Top 5?
Sure.
Top 3?
I don't know.
Top 5 it is. It's a top 5. You heard it here first from our expert. Thanks for being on the podcast. If you want to see anytime we're doing any clips, previews, check us out at take.303 on Instagram and fortway_media. You can also go to thenot.com, Krista and Joe, whatever it is, to check out our wedding coming up in February. If you're not invited, well, now you know. And
we have a honeymoon fund.
And make sure if you have any questions, want to know something, hit us up on Instagram. Send us a like, do all the things, share with your friends. 5 stars on Spotify. So this week's question of the week is, what is your favorite vampire movie? Tell us why. And of course, there's only one poll question this week, and you know it. Is it Team Edward? Is it Team Jacob? All my dogs, come out! Woof, woof. Team Jacob all the way. Let's do it. Thanks so much for watching. Catch us next time when we watch Fall Guy with us lately. You never know what the hell we're watching. We say it. Who knows what'll happen. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.